Hello and welcome back to your class today. I'm starting out today sitting on my heels. Now if this is a difficult action for you to do, then you can either sit in simple cross legs or you can put something between your bottom and your heels to lift you up a little bit more. It's quite strong on the ankles and the fronts of the feet if you're not used to sitting in this way, but we do want to try and get those ankles, feet, shins a little more pliable, not just for this practice but generally speaking. So sitting either in cross legs or sitting back on your heels, roll your shoulders back and down and extend the crown of the head towards the ceiling. So just place your hands onto your abdomen and softly move the abdomen back to the spine and feel the pelvic bowl starting to accept your organic body, your organs sit back into the pelvic bowl. So from here we're going to stretch the arms out in line with the shoulders. We'll do this together. So extend the fingers away from your chest, opening the chest, opening the collarbones, rotate the arms at the root. Now extend the arms up into Vrjasana and bring the hands together down into the Namaskar, the prayer position. Thumbs come into the base of the breastbone, allow the eyes to close. So just let the facial features soften and relax. Extend from the outer shoulders to the outer tips of the elbows. Keep the sides of the neck soft and long, keep the face moving back, so don't jut your chin forwards. Let the breath become steady, smooth and even. Take the back teeth apart. Observe the breath. Let the facial features soften. Let the eyes be soft. After your next exhalation, allow the head to release down. Release your hands, palms face down onto your thighs. Lift your head and lift your eyelids. Okay, well done. So we're going to need a chair for this practice, a couple of foam pads and a belt. So if you haven't got your equipment ready, get some stuff together. If you don't have foam pads, don't worry about it. We can use blankets or cushions. If you don't have a belt, then get yourself a dressing gown cord or something like that. Alright, so we're going to come first of all into a Bharadvajasana twist. Now if this is a difficult action for you because of knee problems, then you can do the twist onto the seat of the chair, which we'll show in the inset. Otherwise, we're going to come from this Vrjasana action and take the legs out to the side. So you're going to take your legs out to the left first of all. So the right foot sits underneath the left foot and you sit down. But this for most of us creates a bit of a tipping action. So we're going to put a couple of foam pads, or if you don't have foam pads, you can place folded blankets, towels or cushions, and then we're going to turn. Now it's best to have something behind you, but you could do this with your hand onto the seat of a sofa, hand onto the wall, hand onto a couple of foam pads, and we're getting this Bharadvajasana twisting action like this. Okay, so let's do that together. Have your foam pads by the side of you. Start in Tadasana with the legs straight out in front and swing your legs to the left. So your right foot is horizontal, the left foot sits on top of the right foot. And then you can put one or two foam pads underneath your right sitting bone to just level you out. Now If there's any discomfort in the knees, do the action on the chair, the alternative on the chair. If you have a wall behind you, you can take your hand to the wall. If you have the seat of a chair, you can take your hand to the seat of a chair. I'm just moving forwards a little bit because the wall's a bit too close for me there. Make sure that your thighs come out straight from your pelvis and that you're anchoring down with your left groin. So the left groin is stabilizing you. Stretch up with your left hand, extend into your fingertips, rotate this upper arm inwards. Take your right hand onto your brick or onto your chair seat. Take the left hand to the outside of your right thigh and use the two actions, backhand to give you a little bit of extra rotational action, front hand, that's your left hand, onto the outside of your right thigh to give you the traction on the front of the body. All right, and releasing. I'm going to stretch the legs out in Tadasana now. So move your foam pads out of the way, extend the legs forwards, swing the legs now to the right. So I'm mirroring you here. And place these foam pads underneath the left sitting bone so that you're leveling things out. So again, get these thigh bones straight, get this anchoring down action with your sitting bone on your right side. Get the evenness throughout the side waists, and then have your brick or whatever you're using behind. Extend up with your right arm, stretch into the fingertips, extend, extend, extend. Inhale, exhale, and then turn. So we're taking the back hand onto some support so that we can get the rotational action in the spinal column. Keep anchoring down with this right groin. Don't bring that with you when you turn. Okay, well done, and releasing. So we're going to stand up and come into Gomukhasana in Tadasana. I'm just going to show you how we'll work with this. I want you to have your feet slightly apart for this Tadasana, so making sure that the middle toe points forwards. Take the feet slightly apart like this. Now I'm going to show you this from behind because it's going to give you a better understanding of what we're doing. So you're going to have your belt over your right shoulder and stretch up this right arm. And we're going to hold on to the right arm and rotate it in. So we've got that arm up. I'll just show first of all, we're going to rotate it in, take it down, and then the left arm will come and catch either onto your belt or onto your fingers, whilst not disturbing the rest of the body. So the rest of the body can't help you. Likes to be an assistant in this. Okay, so feet slightly apart here, middle toe pointing directly forwards, pressing down into the outer foot bones, lifting up through the front of the body, kneecaps lifting, thigh muscles lifting, frontal hip bones lifting, and tailbone long and heavy. Roll your shoulders back and down. Now stretch up with your right arm. If you're using your belt, you have it on your right shoulder. Now take hold of the area just about the armpit region, just above there, and grip hold of that muscle area and rotate it inwards. At the same time, stretch those fingers higher and higher. Breathe. Keep rolling that flesh in and extending up. Now bend at the elbow and creep your fingers down your spine. Now with your left hand, you're going to push the flesh of the arm upwards so the elbow comes more and more towards the ceiling. Keep the head level, keep the abdomen back, keep the frontal ribs back. Stretch out with your other arm, with your left arm, rotate it, turn it, and take it up the back. and see if you can catch. Keep the weight back into the heel bones, keep the frontal ribs moving back, keep the facial features soft. And whether you're catching your belt or your fingers, you're extending your elbows away from one another. Breathe through the nostrils and releasing. Now change the belt over onto the other side. Just get the action in the feet first of all. Tailbone long, chest lifted, and extend up now with your left arm. Hold on to it and turn it inwards. So we've got to get this rotational action on the top arm flesh. Turn it in. Stretch the arm up as much as you can. Breathe. Bend it down. Creep it down the back spine. Stretch out with the right arm. Turn it, rotate it, and see if you can catch. So when you catch, watch that you don't move your lower ribs forwards. It's very tempting to do that. See that you don't move your head around to make space for your shoulders so that you don't have to move your shoulders. The body is very duplicitous. It will make all sorts of arrangements to ensure that it doesn't have to open in the places it perhaps is a bit reluctant to open. It's not because you don't want to, it's because the body tries to do the least work possible. All right, so breathe through the nasal passages, weight back into the heel bones, front legs lifting, kneecaps, thigh muscles. Okay, and releasing out of the action. So it's quite a dynamic action, that Gomukhasana. Now we're going to come into this way of working in Bharadvajasana. We have done this before, and I'm going to use the back of a chair. However, you may not have the back of a chair to use, and it might be that you can do this to the seat of the back of a sofa, to a tabletop. You can see that the chair, it could be doing with being a bit higher, to be honest, but it should be at about the same height as the top of your legs. All right, so where you're working to. So I'll just show how we're going to work here. The left foot turns out, right foot steps forwards. We level the pelvis, hinge forwards, and take the hands onto whatever you're using. So it might be that it's a mantelpiece or a window ledge, something like that, so that you can just start to get this opening in the upper back. You can possibly see that I'm just moving that upper back in. Okay, so hopefully you've got yourself sorted with an appropriate support. Hands on the hips, stand towards the back of your mat, turn your left foot out slightly and step forwards with your right foot. Now, when we do that, the pelvis will tend to swing to the left. So we've got to redirect it back towards the front. This left femur head should be in line with the right femur head, which you can't see because so this is what tends to happen, and we have to swing those back to the center so that these outer femur heads are in line with one another. So from there, you're going to hinge at the hips and take your hands to the back bar of a chair. Now, it may well be that you need to adjust either the support that you're coming to or your body in order to straighten the arms and get this nice length and extension through the spinal column. So adjust if you need to, maybe move yourself back, maybe move your support back. Now extend the breastbone, draw your shoulder blades down towards your back waist, and just see, can you move your armpits a little closer to the floor? Draw up the front leg, kneecap, thigh muscle, breathe. Okay, slowly coming up, step forwards, and we're going to walk back and go to the other side. So right foot turns out, left foot steps forwards. Now, yes, we turn the pelvis, like I said before, but this gluteal crease on the back leg has got to rotate from the inside to the outside. So the back leg spirals. The soft tissue fibre on that back leg spirals up from the inner ankle to the outer shin to inner knee to outer thigh. So it's going up and up and up till it gets to that gluteal crease region. So from here, hinge forwards, keep drawing back on that front leg, kneecap, thigh muscle, keep that rotational action occurring in the back leg, and keep the pelvis level. Extend back into the back leg heel, work those armpits towards the floor. Draw this front leg, the front leg has got to pull up and the thigh bone has got to pull back into the socket. So it's stronger than we think. All right, and slowly stepping forwards and coming up out of the action. So we're going to do the same kind of action in Uttanasana here. So I'm just going to show, we'll take the feet wide, hinge forwards, hands to the back of the chair and extending down. So again, you can use back of the sofa, any support that you were using for the previous action will be fine for this. So line the outer edges of the feet with the outer edges of the mat, push down into those outer foot bones, lift through the front of the body, lift the kneecaps, lift the frontal pelvic bones, hinge forwards. So it's as though the tailbone has got a long weight on it, but this area here, from the back of the knees all the way up the quadriceps and around this gluteal crease area, has got to roll in the opposite direction. So stabilize by hitting down with the tailbone. Tailbone long and heavy. Keep the abdomen lifting towards your spine. Keep the frontal pelvic bones lifting away from your legs. Work the armpits down towards the floor. Don't let the belly drop. Don't let the frontal ribs go. Keep the ears between the arms. Keep the legs lifting really strongly and activate your feet again. Pressing down into the outer edges of the feet. Breathe. Okay, and slowly coming up out of the action. Stand in Tadasana, lift your chest, roll your shoulders back and down. So we're going to come into Gomukhasana again. This time we're going to work with the legs, feet together, and we're going to work in a slightly different way. Again, you can take your belt if you need it. I'm just going to show from behind. So we're going to start out this time with the lower arm, and we're going to work on really extending, really rotating. Extend, turn. So we're going to do this a few times. Take it up the back and move that shoulder back, and then stretch up and see if we can catch either the fingers or the belt. So anybody who's got shoulder problems, be careful with the lower arm, this rotational action of the lower arm. Maybe you just work with the top arm if your shoulders are not good. Okay. So when you have an injury, you have to look after it, and sometimes you have to modify the poses. Feet together, spreading your toes. Really strong in the outer foot bones, sharp in the outer foot bones. Lift your inner ankles. So the bones become heavy, the soft tissue fibre lifts up. Tailbone is long and heavy, stretch down with the arms. So extend out with your left arm just below shoulder height, and we're going to turn it. So it's rotating in this shoulder joint. Turn it, turn it, turn it. So keep turning. Keep turning, keep turning, and now turn and extend it up your back. So lift your chest and let this area, this upper arm area, become heavy and the elbow weighted as you take your arm further up. Now with this action, move the front of this shoulder, so the outer tip of this shoulder moves back, and you may be able to feel that that moves your shoulder blade in. Your left shoulder blade should move in with that action of moving the front of the shoulder back. Then extend up, really stretch and open and bend, and either catch your fingers or catch your belt. Catching the belt is very good. It's better than just touching the fingers because you get some traction. So you can pull on that belt so that you get some opening in the stiff areas in your shoulders. Breathe through the nostrils and release. Okay, move your belt to the other side if you're using it. Extending out, and one side will be better than the other. So extend out, rotate and turn and turn and turn and turn. Keep rotating. We have to get some life and action, and then turn and swing it up your back. So this area here, from the outer tip of the shoulder to the outer elbow, has to become heavy, as though you've got a weight inside that elbow, pulling that down. And as you do so, creep the hand up your back. Now stretch up with your left arm, open out in that armpit, extend into the fingertips, and then see if you can catch. So see, maybe this time it was a little better than the previous time. Certainly for me that's the case. Now your right shoulder has to move back, and again you might be able to feel an action in your right shoulder blade. Keep your left upper arm close to your left ear. Don't let that drift out to the side. Breathe through the nostrils, weight back into the heel bones, and releasing the arms down. Well done.